Welcome to Happiness and Purpose. I think one of the questions that we need to ask ourselves every now and then is how fulfilled do we feel? Because that sense of fulfillment in our life is also the same sense of our happiness in life, where we feel like we've extended ourselves, where we've given ourselves to the people around us, and at the end of the day we have this sense of fulfillment, like we've achieved something, like we've made some progress. And of course that's the same thing as our purpose. Basically our purpose is the promise we made about what we do when we came to this planet. We are not here by accident. This is not a random thing where we've suddenly turned up in some random body, in some random family, in some random country, and we're all just frailing our way through our existence and hoping that we get to the other end. That's nothing like that. We're here by design. We're here because we all promised we would do something. We're all here because we said we'd come down and we'd make a contribution that would change and help humanity. Now most of us are frightened of our purpose. That's why we've hidden it so deep in our unconscious mind. In the depths of our mind we've locked it away and we've pretended it's not there. So that's why typically as we go deeper and deeper into the unconscious mind, we will rediscover our purpose. Now usually when you discover your purpose, you'll realize why you hid it so deeply. Because most of us feel totally inadequate, we feel totally unprepared, we feel totally unready to achieve it. And one of the best stories for that, of course, is the old biblical story about Jonah. You know that story where Jonah's walking around and all of a sudden God shows up. And like everybody, when God shows up, you really listen. And so God says to Jonah, I really want you to go and tell those Mesopotamians to stop screwing around and making such chaos and a mess of things and worshipping all those idols. And of course, Jonah goes, no problem, I'm your man, I'm on the job. And Jonah once again finds himself alone in the desert. So he heads towards the Mesopotamians and with his best intention of carrying out his purpose. But the more he goes, the more the doubts enter his mind. Well, they're never going to listen to me, and they're such bad boys, they'll probably mistreat me in some way. So at some point, Jonah gets frightened of his purpose. So he decides, instead of doing his purpose, he's going to go and take a holiday. In fact, a sailing holiday. So in the nearest port, he signs onto a ship and heads for the horizon. After a few days at sea, a storm comes up. And of course, Jonah, with his guilty feeling of not having carried out his purpose, tells the captain, the reason this storm is up is because I'm not doing my purpose and God's unhappy with me and he's punishing us all. So the captain, being a practical man, picks up Jonah and throws him over the side. And Jonah sinks deep in the ocean until some point a whale swallows him. And now Jonah is sitting in the belly of a whale and he realizes it's time for a decision. Like most of us, he has a whale of a problem. And the question is, what is he going to do? Continue on the path he's on and become the lowest thing in the ocean, whale shit? Or is he going to do what he promised he was going to do? And as the story goes, eventually he agreed. He committed to his purpose. And he survived that instance, got ashore again, and went and did what he promised he was going to do. Now all of us are the same way about our purpose. In fact, many of the problems we've created in our lives, maybe not as big as a whale, are all there. At least 75% of them are there to distract us from our purpose, to keep us occupied trying to deal with this endless series of problems and issues. So we never get to face what's really inside of us. The deep questions about, are we really going to do what we said we're going to do or not? The other 25% of our problems are there just to teach us how to achieve our purpose. much in the same way as our childhood was the perfect training ground for our purpose, for what we came to do, for who we came to be. Our parents were the perfect parents that we needed in order to achieve that. The country we grew up in, everything about us, the sex that we are, it is all part of who we are. It is all part of the grand design.
So our happiness is actually our birthright. When we claim it and we become fulfilled, then what we are called to do and how we are called to give ourselves will be shown to us. Our purpose isn't something we actually do ourselves. It's something that is done through us, through our intuition, through our inspiration, and it moves through us, it's given through us. And so in very many ways it's not exactly what we do, but it's who we are and how we show up that creates an unfolding purpose. And the more we give ourselves in that direction, the greater our purpose will be as it unfolds.
Our happiness typically comes from that level of giving. Once you're willing to really commit yourself, face the deepest fears in your mind and not have them stop us. And that we choose on a daily basis that the only thing that's important to us is our purpose. And that level of giving will then lead us step by step to a place of happiness. When we realize we don't have to do it, that in fact on some level all we need to do is just keep moving forward step by step and doing what's asked of us. And everything we need will be given to us. Everything we need to solve the problems, to get through the situations we're in, is given to us. In fact, it's already given to us. We don't need anything extra. We don't need anything more. We just need to recognize there's this step to be taken and this commitment to be given. Now, it's not like that we only have one purpose in life. In actual fact, we have a number of purposes. We have that personal promise that we made, that personal purpose that we have. But we also have collective purposes. And one of the main collective purposes for all of us is to reach happiness. That gives us the first purpose, which then also leads to the second purpose, which is if you're not happy, then now is the time to heal something. So it gives us the second purpose for all of us is healing. We need to heal ourselves. When we're not happy, we need to recognize there's something we need to change. There's something we need to give. And when we find out what that is that we're called to give and what that is that we're called to change, and we give it, then we will go back to being happy. We will go back to having a sense of fulfillment. Now for me, one of the things that was true in my life is before I came to this work, I asked myself the question, when was the last day I was truly happy? And 20 years ago, I couldn't answer that question. But now, having worked on myself and cleaned out many of my blocks to my unhappiness, because happiness is not something you teach, happiness is actually part of your natural state. It comes from your helping, from your giving. And once you do that, you will naturally be happy. So what we're called to do here is to heal the things that make us unhappy. And once I'd done enough of that, I had moments of happiness in my life, even moments of joy. But each time that happens to me, there's also this voice inside my head which says, I wonder what's going to happen next. Because usually when we get to that state of happiness, our higher mind, our soul mind is so happy with us, so encouraged by us and our healing, it goes, oh well, now guess what? Here's the next thing you need to heal. When that next issue comes up, the thing we need to recognize is now we need to heal this. And we will stay unhappy as long as it takes us for us to heal that issue. But as soon as we have, we'll get back to that happiness. And as we're willing to go on that path, step by step, healing issues, step by step, then that'll take us back to greater and greater levels of happiness and joy. Because that's who we are, and that's who we've come to be.
And as we share ourselves, as we share this happiness we have within ourselves, it becomes infectious. Everybody catches the disease, if for want of a better word. And happiness is, as I say, it's a birthright, it's there, but the more we increase our levels of happiness, the more our purpose will start to show itself. When a person is truly living their purpose, then they'll wake up in the morning and they'll be happy for no good reason.
As we embrace our purpose, what we also do is we start having that vision level of consciousness that draws us forward. And as that draws us forward, we go step by step out of the darkness. We go out of that place of loneliness where we feel that we're the only one there, we're the only one here. And we start realizing there are many other people on the same path. Because there's a true aspect about our purpose. Our purpose is not something we do by ourselves. It's not some lonely quest, going away. The truth is, our purpose is everybody. Everyone is involved in our purpose, as we're involved in everyone else's purpose. Our purpose is a joint thing. It's something we've come to do together as a community, as a world.
The thing to remember about happiness, and that's really important, is when we're not happy, it's when we've stopped giving. The giving of ourselves opens us up to more and more levels of happiness, but also opens up our purpose. The more we give to our lives and the people in it, purpose will unfold. So why not take a moment now and consider, on a scale from 0 to 100%, how happy are you? And write it down.
So imagine also that you had all the money and all the resources in the world, that there was no obstacles to doing whatever you want to do. Spend some time and think about what the legacy is that you would like to leave behind in this world. What would you like to be remembered for? What would you like to be remembered by from your friends, from your community, when they spoke of you after your passing? If we need any guidance about what it is that we come to give to the world, that is part of our purpose, the place that we need to look is back in our family. Take a moment and reflect. What was the gift that you brought to give your family that would have helped them transcend all their issues, that would have given you a leg up, that would have shown you your purpose and who you've come to be?
And also, very often, it's behind our greatest fears, usually, that hides our purpose. And when we regain that, we have so much passion for it that everybody gets the benefit.